Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are talking today about transformation and why they actually fail. Why quite often transformations actually fail. And one of the reasons is, which you may not know, is that it has to be identity shift. Most people don't realize that. So that's what we're talking about today. We are talking about, join the invite. Oh, let me see. Hi there. Hi, Erica Essie. So today we are talking about transformation and the myth of transformation, right? Quite often people think that you have to, oh, thank you for liking the live. Is someone else here? Good morning, my friend. Hi, Gia. Thank you for joining. Thank you for liking the live. Today, we're actually talking about transformation. And as we talk about that, there's a few things I want us to kind of move out of the way. Some of the misconceptions of a transformation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, today is a divine beginning. Thank you so much. Some of the myths of the transformation. And then, yes, I'm glad you needed it. And then, hey, AJ, thank you for joining. And then, it's some things are myths, but we want to bust those myths, if you will, and talk about how you can have a transformation. That's what we're talking about today. I am going to, because I started a little late, I'll be on till about 9:15, 9:30 or so. Please tap your screen, get other people in as they come in, or if you feel this information is worthy of them coming in, please get them in here. And the more people that come in, the more we'll get this information, okay? So with a transformation, quite often we talk about putting more things on our plate. We talk about adjusting this. We talk about doing tons of things. But the misinformation here is we always figure we need to put more things on our plate in order to transform our life. No, that's not how it works. If you've tried to do something, and when you see me look here or down, I'm actually looking at both my computer and my notes. Guys, you know I take tons of notes. So with that being said, if you've tried to change, but you always end up back at the same spot, that's what we're talking about. So how many have actually done that? If you've tried to make a change, but you continue to be at the same spot over and over and over again. If that's you, then this live is for you. People think that transformation actually comes from working harder or learning more. That is a myth. That is not true. Thank you for that. Oh, she said me. Thank you for that, right? The truth about a transformation, and I've got it right here. The truth about that is you actually need to shift your identity. Identity shifted. Now, when I say shift the identity, that means we need to adjust some things with who we are, not what we're trying to do, but who we are becoming, right? So, as I said before, your subconscious is always talking to your conscious. Your mind is always looking to protect you. So if your mind is always looking to protect you, then it is always asking these questions. Number one, is this uncomfortable? The answer will always be yes, because growth requires uncomfortability. It's always going to ask that, is this uncomfortable? Number two, does this require more of me? I'll say it again for the people in the back. Does this require more of me? The answer will always be yes. Because if it requires more, if it requires you to adjust, is it going to be painful? And the answer is yes. Then your brain is telling you, wait. Isn't that interesting? Your brain is telling you, your mind is telling you, hold up, stop, don't do it. So when we're looking for a transformation, quite often it is so hard because our brain is filtered. Our brain is actually filtered to stop us. But the challenge is when it stops us, we remain in a comfort zone. And when we remain in a comfort zone, my friend, there is no transformation. You do not get what you want out of it. You are truly not. Yes. Yes, that is your brain. Our brain, keep in mind now, our brains are built for comfort. It is built to help us. And when I say comfort, it is set up to help us. Something that we think maybe, quote unquote, is danger, right? So it's built to protect us. And as it is protecting us, just to be clear, GIA, baby, just to be clear, the reason it is protecting us is because that is how our Creator made us, right? We need to be protected. However, because of our imperfection, that protection leads us to a space where we do not grow quite often. We do not have the life transformation we're looking for. Does that make sense? So growth is painful. Our brain is blocking pain. Growth means a challenge. Our brain is blocking the challenge, right? So we have to push through. And thank you for joining. Right. There you go. There you go. Let's pin that. Let's pin that. How do I pin? There we go. There we go. We initially have a fear unless we tend to push through. And so, guys, that's what we're talking about today. The transformation. People think it comes from working harder and learning more. I am here to disrupt your thought process. That is not the case. And thank you so much for the likes, guys. Keep the likes coming. Get other people in. If you deem this information worthy of other people knowing about it, please let them in, right? So when I talk about helping people with a transformation, and we have classes about transformation, guess what happens? Most people don't realize that their brain is set up to keep you comfortable. Your brain is set up so that as you're doing things, it blocks it. It stops you from moving forward. Now, whether that's a fear. And here's another piece. And thank you for that comment, Gia. When we start talking about success, yes, we have classes, honey. 317 is the next class, right? 317 is the next class. You see that here? So when we're talking in class, one of the biggest things that we talk about is the mind trap. One of the biggest things we talk about is the mind trap. The reason we stay on that mind trap for so long is because if you can get past the challenge, the growth, the fear of success, the negative talk, right? The discomfort, when we move past that, then baby, the possibilities are endless. The opportunities are endless. So we have to keep that in mind. Our brain is wired for us to stay comfortable. We have to push through that. Okay. So if today we're talking about the transformation and the myths of the transformation. So 3 reasons that we may not change even if we try. Okay. One of them, and this is the biggest one, and I'm going to look at my notes here. One of them is this. We are focused on the goal, not the process. We're focused on a goal and not the process. It's not that the goal is not important. The goal is very much so important. But what is the process, meaning who you are becoming in order to get to the goal? What is the process? So when we talk about a process, guys, there's something that I take you guys through. Right. You're not focused on the goal. Right. Focus on the goal, not the process. That we need to focus on the process. Focus on the process. Here's the reason why, Gia. Here's the reason why. When we focus on a process, we begin to experience exactly what's necessary in order to hit the goal. Why do I say that? Because keep in mind, as we're thinking about a process, this is what happens. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of some of what we talk about in class, okay? Number 1, first and foremost, it's an idea. Yes, the process. It's an idea. Everything starts as an idea. Once you have the idea, if you linger on that long enough, it becomes a thought. Now, when it becomes a thought, your brain is processing, should I make a move on this thought? What happens now that I have this thought, what's happening? What's going on? Right? As you have that thought, depending on how long you stay with that, it becomes a belief. It becomes a belief. Are you getting me? Is anyone getting me? Please continue to tap your screen. Let other people in. As you tap, I will give more information, right? So it becomes a belief. That belief, depending on how strong you believe it, depending on how strong you believe this, it puts you in gear for action. But here's the piece that most people don't tell you. Thank you, Linda, for joining. Thank you, Laquita. Thank you guys so much. Right? Here's the piece that most people don't tell you. If you're waiting for motivation to start, again, we're talking about transformation. We're talking about the myth buster. If you're waiting on transformation to start, if you're waiting on motivation to start, that's where we go wrong. That is where we completely go wrong. Good morning, Ashley. How are you, sweetie? Thank you for joining. Thank you for the likes, right? If we're waiting on the motivation, that's where we go wrong. Gia, did you get that? Linda, did you get that? Ashley, are you getting that? Gayu, are you getting that, right? As you keep in mind now, when we talk about our brain and how it processes things, right? Keep in mind, we are meant to stay comfortable. So if we're meant to stay comfortable, will we ever truly get the motivation? I'm going to lean in for that. Will we ever truly get the motivation? Right? And in class, baby, we ask questions I'm not giving you the answer. I want you to disrupt your thinking. I want you to disrupt your thought pattern, right? So with that being said, motivation will not keep you consistent. Let me see. How do you unlearn everything? Okay, I'm going to pin that. Gia, thank you. How do you unlearn everything we've been taught to learn and adapt to new ideas? Perfect. Because some of that is where we're leading to. And we talk about that in class, Gia, but some of that is where we're leading to. Are you ready, Gia? Are you ready? Because this is the answer right here. That's why I led into motivation, because that is a myth. If you're looking for motivation, that's always going to wane. Motivation is built on emotion. Not going to work. What you need is a system. When you have a system, it creates a habit or it creates repetition. When you have repetition, it creates a habit. Motivation does not keep you consistent. Baby, emotion going to fail you every single time. Thank you so much, Oh So Good Organics. Motivation is going to fail you every single time because I'm not motivated to get on a treadmill at 5 a.m. I'm not motivated sometimes to put makeup and hair on. Right. It takes time. So here's the piece, again, that you may not know. One thought as an example. I'm going to use negative self-talk as an example, right? So when we're talking to ourselves, I can't do it. I can't handle this. This is too much. I don't want to do it. Such and such doesn't like me, blah, blah. This whole process. When we have negative self-talk and we have self-doubt, do you realize that one sentence of negative self-talk takes you 7 to 10 positive sentences, 7 to 10 positive sentences to begin to move that out the way? You have to rewire your brain. Right? Does that make sense, Gia? Does that make sense, Ashley? Gaio, does that make sense? Right? So think about that. If I have one piece of I can't do this, just one thing, it takes 7 to 10 positive pieces in order to move me into, and that's moving me just into neutral to begin to think about I can do it. Right? Let me see. I had an invite for coffee with a cousin and she had to say I was busy. She was so negative. Yes. Right. So we don't want negativity around. Do you see why the brain is so important? Do you see why rewiring the mindset is so important? Do you understand why when we talk about a transformation, it is about a system, a way of doing things, not what am I becoming, whom am I becoming for the transformation? Who am I becoming? Right. Stop with that. I can't do it. You can do this. This is how. And so that's what we talk about. Gia, you asked about a class. DanieSheldon.net. The next class starts 3/17. And that's what we're talking about in class, a complete life transformation. So if you're trying to upgrade your habits without upgrading your mindset, it's not going to work. How does that work? I'm going to change my habits, but my mindset doesn't change. Baby, listen, your mindset is what sparks everything. You cannot build a new life on an old belief system. So if your old belief system is, I can't do it, it does not happen, it's not going to work, If your old belief system is around people who have the belief system, your environment, it's not just your peers, it's your environment. If you have an old belief system that's set up with how you were 6 months ago and you're trying to move forward, well, you will remain right there. Does that make sense? You cannot build a new life on an old belief system. So which of these are keeping you there? Is it motivation? Is it the old belief system? Yes, for the Erica Essie. Erica Essie, for the people in the back. For the people in the back, you cannot build a new life on an old belief system. I'm going to give you an example. And this may be touchy, but I'm going to give you an example. Okay? And I said this the other day on the live. You want to learn how to swim. And this is one of the best examples ever, because swimming requires it requires action. It requires movement. You looked at a video about swimming. Okay, you may have gotten some technical information. You read a book about swimming. You read the entire 2,500-page book about swimming. Okay, you may have got more technical information. Until you actually jump in the pool or jump in the lake, how will you learn how to swim? That is likewise with our habits, with our thoughts. I read a book about Mission Possible because it is possible. Okay. I read a book about how I can adjust in 28 days. Okay. But did I actually put things into place? What were my cues, right? What were the triggers? What were those things that were going to help me? And guys, when I talk about cues, we talk about that in class. When I talk about making it attractive, we talk about that in class. When I talk about adjusting the mindset, rewiring, relearning, I'm giving you a sneak peek so you can know and understand that this information is also talked about in class, right? So when we talk about that, it is impossible for you to have a new way of life without adjusting the belief system that you have. And as long as your belief system is one that says that it will not happen, you cannot do it, it won't happen, then you will never reach there. So when we talk about visualization, why are we visualizing if we don't believe it? So we have to have cues along the way. What is a cue? A cue is something that triggers the mind to follow that particular course. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Put a 1 in the comments if that makes sense. So we don't, listen, the first thing we have to do, the first thing that we must become aware of, the very first thing, and I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to put my eye to the camera when I say this. The very first thing we must do is become aware of our situation and circumstance. We cannot turn a blind eye to who we are deep down inside. I feel like choosing systems and belief is an ongoing leveling up. Newsflash, also organics, absolutely. Here's why. And I'm gonna share this with you, also organics. And guys, as you're on the live, please go here. DanieSheldon.net. I've moved my hair out of the way. Please go here and sign up for your free newsletter. Sign up for your free newsletter. I have free information there as well. March just came out. And in March, we're talking about some of this information. Thank you. I appreciate it, Ashley. Thank you so much. Here's the piece. We have a base. I always start here with base. Oh, so good organics. This is the base. This is the level up. Why is my level up here? Because the mind is a trap, baby, and we have to come out the trap. But notice from the base to the elevation, there is things in between that. You notice that? Thank you so much for the gift, Adrian. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, right? There is, if you look at this space, sweetheart, look at all that space in between here. What happens at each level? So this is the base where my chest is. This is elevate. So this is the base. We get here. That's mindset. We get here. That's ideas. We get here. That's our thought process. This our beliefs. We can continue to move. And as we move up, we are elevating ourselves to a new belief system, a new process. We are beginning to remove emotion and put logic in. When we put logic in, guess what? When we put logic in, guess what? We begin to not blur the lines. Why do we need to stop blurring lines? Because when we blur lines, guess what happens? We rely on motivation. Do you see the cycle there? Do you see the cycle there, Adrian? Thank you so much for the gift, sweetie. Without Justice, thank you for joining. Erica Essie, do you see the cycle? Ashley, do you see the cycle? Gayu, Gia, do you all see the cycle there? Organics, thank you, right? So that's what we talk about. You have to have, you have to do a few things. Linda, thank you so much. Ashley, yes. So when we have a transformation process, exactly, the dog is chasing his tail. Hello, Without Justice, thank you so much for joining, right? The dog is chasing its tail. That's why when we talk about learning to swim, that's why when we talk about learning to adjust or rewire our mindset, that's why when we talk about relearning, it is a process and you create a system. What do I mean by system? There has to be cues. What are some of the cues? Some of those cues are logical. Some of the cues are emotional. But here's the piece. If it's emotional all the time, that is an imbalance. If I rely on emotions, then I will not get up and get on the treadmill. If I relied on emotions, guys, my eyebrows would not be done. If I relied on emotions, I would not do some of the things that I'm doing now. Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you guys for liking the lives. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. But think about this. It's not just emotion. You also have to change your environment. Here's why. And I'm going to lean in for this. You have to change your environment because your emotions are tied to the environment. If you have children and your children are grown and they act nuts, your emotions are tied to them. So what happens? You have to love them from afar. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying this is you. I'm helping you to appreciate that when your emotions are tied to something, the sentimentality that's tied up in it will keep you without a transformation. It will keep you stuck and you will not have success. Does that make sense? Is anybody out there in TikTok land? Does that make sense for the people in the back? If your environment is not changed or adjusted, if you do not rewire that environment, the codependency is a no, absolutely, and it becomes toxic. And I can speak from my own experience. If there are people around that are toxic or they're always negative or something, do you know how draining it is if someone is negative most of the time and you're always the positive one? So what do I have to do? I have to move from base, you guys, right? Are you looking base to elevate? As I move from base to elevate and the trajectory of my positivity moves up, the trajectory, that's why I'm not going for coffee. Don't go for coffee. Because clearly when you go for coffee, that's when you get the negativity. Don't go for coffee. Make your own coffee, right? But when the trajectory of my transformation is going this way, baby, somebody got to fall. And it's not going to be me. Somebody has to drop. It's not going to be me. So as the trajectory goes up, the trajectory of your transformation, the trajectory of your mind shifting to success, the trajectory of maintaining your goals, the trajectory of your logic, because now you have a new mindset. As you begin to shift your identity, those that are not with you begin to drop off. They begin to drop off. And as they drop off, guess what happens? You begin to surround yourself with others. And who are those others? They have like mindset. They have similar thought process. They too are mind shifting to success. Do you see where that is? So if you want to become someone who is transforming their life, let me see, do you provide company coaching? We need this training. We are scaling everything. Absolutely. I absolutely do. Also Good Organics. If you go here, DanieSheldon.net, it will say, how do you get in contact with me or contact us? Put your information in and I'll reach out to you. If you're looking for class on March 17th, please, DanieSheldon.net. If you're looking for speaker coaching for a company, DanieSheldon.net. Right there. Okay, guys? So what I'm helping you to appreciate is you have to shift your identity. You have to change the system. You have to change your environment. I'm told for drama should stay middle-aged. No. You're welcome, organics. Ashley, no. When we talk about shifting, listen, what people don't understand is that we are created in such a resilient way that we can bounce back from things. Now, depending on the situation and the amount of trauma and stuff that happens, it takes a while, but we are actually resilient. It just requires work. And see, in the beginning, when I talked about it, in the beginning, the very first thing, I think Gia was here. Gia, I hope you're still there, darling. But in the very beginning, when we talked about it, one of the things I said was, our brain is wired to make us comfortable. If my brain is wired to make me comfortable, that simply means that will sit in this particular state until I rewire my brain to move forward. It is, you cannot transform your life by doing more. And when I say more, I'm talking about becoming. It's not that we need to do more from, let me busy myself, let me do this. And no. When we talk about a system, when we talk about confidence, when we talk about rewiring our brain, when we talk about relearning, imagine the amount of time that you take, just to be clear, imagine the amount of time that you take in order to do all these other things, but it still hasn't given you the transformation. Yes, it's the Gayu. It's the, if you go to the website, you see services, you'll see something that says the 5P transformation. Yes. Right? Guys, if you guys are going there now, it's DeniseSheldon.net. If you see something that says the 5P transformation, that is the class. It starts 3/17, right? If you're looking, go ahead and create an account, because then you'll get updates not only about the class, but you'll get updates about the newsletter, so on and so forth. So I'm going to move my head out of the way so you guys can see the website. Okay? When you go there, create yourself an account. You'll get updates about the class. You'll get updates about the newsletter. You'll get a ton of information. And a lot of the information is free. Okay? So what I'm trying to help you to appreciate is the identity shift that you're looking for. Why are we waiting? The brain will not, just to be clear, we are set up to protect ourselves from danger. We are set up that we are protecting ourselves. Unfortunately, when we believe it's danger, that means we're protecting ourselves also from the success that we could be having in the life transformation. And so as we transform, we have to make it happen. We have to program our mind for the next level. Each time you grow, there's a next level. Each time you grow, there's a next level. You cannot be on to the next level with old systems and old beliefs. You cannot. It does not work. So my question is, who is ready for the next level today? Who's ready for it? Who's ready to shift their identity today? Who is ready for a new system? Who's ready to have new habits? Right. And so organics, thank you for that. Here's the piece. And this is what we talk about in class. Here's the piece. And that's why, just to be clear, so good organics, when we talk about this, we are on the mind a minimum of a day and a half, because we are digging in. Linda, I'm glad you're ready for the transformation. Erica Essie, I'm glad you're ready for the transformation. Thank you so much. Please feel free to go here and sign up, create an account, right? But here's the piece. It does not happen immediately. But in class, we talk about setting up cues and making different things attractive so that you're able to have a system. And so when life changes, and I'm going to give you an example, organics. So when life throws you a monkey wrench, you still have the system set up in such a way where you can still maintain your goals. Okay? Organics, did you get that? There is a system that's set up in such a way where you can still maintain your goals. It is, when we talk about identity shifting, keep in mind, organics, that's what you're doing. You are shifting on a consistent basis. Hey, Summer, thank you for joining, sweetie. As you're shifting on a consistent basis, that program that is set up, that you personally set up in class, because it is designed for specifically you. The questions that are asked, how it's done is designed specifically for you. You're the one answering the questions. You're the one setting things up in such a way where your mind is rewired so that you know and understand this is what's happening as I'm making the transformation. So we don't want the old beliefs. We want the new beliefs. We have to keep that up. The 5P transformation is the beginning. In order to move to the next level, I have something called the triangle framework. That is next level. Now that level, when you get to that part, most people do the 5P transformation first, then we do the triangle framework. That definitely elevates the 5P transformation because you're moving up. Keep in mind, each time you move up, it is preparing you for your next level up. So, as an example, if I'm at base and I take a step, it's like a stair-step case. If I'm at base and I take a step, well, that step is going to lead me to the next step and the next step. As we grow, that old belief system that we have takes us to a new belief system. That new belief system takes us even further, and we begin to build momentum. As we build momentum, it propels us to maintain our goals. It propels us to a new life. We begin to think completely different on a different level. And one of the best things we could have in terms of a life transformation, in terms of taking the next step, one of the things we have to do is a new belief system. We have to. If you're not hitting your goals successfully, this is for you. If you're not having the transformation you desire, this is for you. If you're not able to mind shift to success and remain there to hit the goals to have a complete life transformation, this is for you. So that's what we're talking about. So this class is 317. That is a intro class to mind shifting to success. The triangle framework, baby, listen, when you want to go hard, that's where we talk about psychology, we talk about moods, we talk about a ton of things. Get in the 5P transformation. Get into the 5P transformation. Once you get into the 5P transformation, you'll be ready to propel to that next level. Does that make sense, Organics? Does that make sense, Gia? Does that make sense, Summer, Erica, Ashley, Linda, Ashley? Does that make sense? Elevate with Vern, does that make sense? Right? So with that being said, Elevate with Vern, thank you so much for joining. When we talk about those things, great day, my friend. How are you? How are you? It's good to see you. When we talk about these things, that's what we're talking about. It's the elevation that we're looking for. It's adding more to our life. It's the quality of life. Quality of life. That's what we're looking for when we talk about a transformation. The quality of life, the experience. Right now, our experiences are horrible, but it's how we view them. What are we learning from them? Are we wasting? And here's the piece. When we talk about wasting time, if you've learned something from it, it was not a waste of time. You're starting from experience. But guys, we have to adjust in order to get there. We have to have an identity shift. And so as promised, I'm here until 9. I'm actually over. I said I'd be here until 9:15. Guys, I've got an appointment at 9:30 that I have to prepare for. Thank you, Gia, baby. I appreciate that. Guys, thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follows. I so appreciate it. I'm going to move my hair to the side. DanieSheldon.net, right? Sign up, create yourself an account. When you create the account, you will begin to get emails from me. If you've decided that you don't want any emails, then you won't get it. But you will get emails from me. You will have the ability to download the free newsletter, Alignment. Listen, alignment. When we talk, that is something that we talk about there. And I'm constantly talking about alignment, aligned opportunities. You cannot get aligned with any opportunities thinking you're progressing doing busy work. It does not happen. It does not happen. You cannot, I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. You cannot get aligned opportunities adding more to your plate, and it is just busy work. If it is busy work, you will never be aligned. We're talking about intentional opportunities, intentional efforts, intentional focus. So it creates the opportunities for you. It creates the opportunities for you. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to drop, right? When we talk about life and the opportunities, life actually creates the opportunity. It creates the opportunity for what you're trying to do. Simply you being here is an opportunity. Let's start there, right? It creates opportunity and possibilities. Life creates opportunity. So with that being said, if it's created just by you being here, then why don't we align ourselves with it? Why not? Why don't we align ourselves with it? Why don't we adjust the mindset? We're looking for a transformation. Are we willing to do the work? Yes, I know the brain is supposed to keep you safe. But if it's keeping us safe, that means that I am not being successful in that safe zone. You have to grow. You have to take a risk. I grew up in Baltimore City. Growing up there is a risk in itself, right? So as you take the risk, what the class is helping you to do is understand cues, understand triggers, understand minds. Exactly, it's the whole mindset. Come out of survival mode. First of all, if you're in survival mode, I'm going to share this with you. If you are in survival mode, oh, Northern Virginia, we love Northern Virginia. Hey there, organics. We love Northern Virginia. I was in survival mode for over 15 years. If you're in survival mode, that means you're on autopilot. If you're on autopilot, you're not really experiencing life. If you're not experiencing life, you cannot be enjoying it. And if you're not enjoying it, then that's why we need the transformation. Did you get that, organics? I'll say it again. I'll give you my own personal experience. In survival mode for over 15 years. If I'm in survival mode, I'm on autopilot. What is autopilot? Life is flying before me and I'm not catching anything. I'm just going. How are you experiencing life? What is the quality of your life if all you're doing is on autopilot? That means that everything in your sphere, in your environment, is getting done based on survival, based on autopilot. And if it's only based on autopilot, if it's only based on, I have to get it done, then where is the quality of your life? There is not one. And I'm not trying to be hard or rude. I'm saying the quality, the experience that you're looking for is not happening. And if it's not happening, then that's why the 5P transformation, the class that starts 3/17, that's why we deep dive the first 2 days, because your mindset has to be adjusted. That's it. And I understand what autopilot means. Let me see. I signed up. I need you. Yes. Thank you. I'm glad you signed up. I understand what autopilot is. I've been there, done it. It did not help me. When I tell you I didn't feel, I was numb. I didn't feel until after the 15 years. Come on. Don't stop, guys. We're not going to cry on the live today. That's not what this is for. So, God, listen. Begin to accept this is where you are. Because as soon as you accept it, then you can acknowledge it. Then you can reflect. Then you can self-inspect. Then you can take action. But we can't get there if we're not aware, if we don't at least acknowledge it. And so, also good organics, when you begin to talk about autopilot, when you begin to talk about survivor mode, I'm telling you now, I've already been in survivor mode. It does not work. It does not yield the results that you're looking for. And I'm glad you signed up. Let me see. I'm taking care of my husband. No cry. I'm happy just to. Yes. I'm telling you, listen, Ashley, when I tell you, I have classes where people say my mind is better. I can see the light. The jumbleness that was going all together is gone. This is what happens, that you begin to see a difference. She said, what she said was, my husband and my grandson noticed a difference even by day 2. Okay. And to be clear, I do not put this all in day 1. It would be too much. It's going to be too much for day 1. You cannot have all of this information. It's like giving babies solid food at 6 months. Babies do not take solid food at 6 months. You have to slowly chew this. There's only one way to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. You have to chew this slowly. And as you begin to chew, then it gets nice and soft enough for your palate that you can swallow. Once you swallow, then you can digest. Yes, you have to take care of yourself. Yeah, you cannot feed an infant. That does not happen. And so that's why when we talk about shifting our identity, when we talk about mindset, when we talk about adjusting, when we talk about different cues and making things attractive, these are all things with the thought process. I created it specifically because I was sad at times. I would not say I was depressed all the time, but I certainly was sad. I was on autopilot. Nothing was going right. Children acting nuts and going crazy. I'm trying to do everything under the sun. You cannot do it. It does not happen. It just doesn't happen. So with that being said, and guys, I got a client at 9:30, so I'm going to drop, but please go here, DanieSheldon.net. Create the account. Sign up for the class. If you have questions, if you just need to talk to me to find out more information, send me an email. I'll email you back. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good day. I'm back on tomorrow. No, I'll be back on Wednesday. I'll be back on Wednesday. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Thanks for the love and the support. Look, let me give y'all some cheers. Did the cheers happen? Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate the support. Bye-bye.